Recorder. Okay, welcome everyone. Thank you again for joining us today. We're really pleased to have been able to organise this session so that we can tell the community some information about the Digital Jobs Program. Now, this program is created by the state government, the Victorian State Government, and it's being run by the Department of Jobs, Precincts and Regions in partnership with Hudson Recruitment as well. So the Whittlesea Community Connections Jobs Advocate team is putting this information session together to share the information that our community needs about this program. So we're going to go through what it is, who's eligible to join. We'll go through the eligibility criteria in some detail, what you need to do as part of the program and what the benefits are. We've allowed quite a long period of time for today's session. And I will just move on to our acknowledgement of country. Okay, so I'd like to start today by acknowledging the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, which is where I work and live, who are the traditional custodians of this land. And I pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. So during today's session, we want to make it a very open forum. We would like you to ask questions at any time during the session. We're going to start with a presentation from our guest, Susan, who's going to go through just kind of a broad overview of the program, but then we'll get into some finer details. So you might have a lot of questions at the start and we might say, look, we have a slide coming up about that. But as we go through the information, anytime you want to clarify something, you say, look, the language you're using doesn't quite make sense for me. If you either want to type it into chat, that's a really good way. And then either San or I from the advocates team will see that and read out your question. Or if there's kind of a break, you can put your microphone on and speak up. Let's see. Yes, we're all going to be respectful of each other's opinions and needs. We've allocated 2 hours for this session, but it might be finished sooner. We've allowed such a long time so that we can go through every question that people have. Please keep your audio muted if you're not speaking to the group. If you have more questions, you're welcome to contact us at the Job Advocates team or the information email at Hudson after the session with more questions. We've recorded this session. So if you want to keep your camera off for privacy, you're very welcome to do that. And we will send you a follow-up email after this session, which will include the resources and links from today's presentation. So I'd like to start by introducing our guest speaker. We're very fortunate today to have Susan Maguire from Hudson join us to give us an overview of the program. And I've put there a link where you can email Susan's team if you want more information from them about the recruitment process, and also the website on Hudson's website where you can download some fantastic resources like their course guide. And we're also going to have Audrey Schaff from the Department of Jobs, Precincts and Regions joining us today as well. So I would like to hand over to Susan, and Susan, if you want to give me a nod or a yes when you're ready for me to move slides, I think that will work best. Thank you.
Thanks, Jenny, much appreciated. Thank you for having me along today. It's great to meet you all. And as I move through these slides, please do ask your questions. I'll pause at the end of each slide and leave time for questions just so we can take those as we move through. But essentially, our digital jobs program aims to build our digital skills workforce. Our future economy is showing a real demand for digital jobs, and in fact, recently in Deloitte's studies in 2019, they forecasted that an additional 33,000 digital jobs, in fact, would be needed in Victoria over the next, over this next life cycle of our workforce and our workforce planning. And in fact, COVID has probably made that even more relevant and necessary. The numbers are jumping up and we're finding we're needing digital skills into our economy even quicker than what we thought we would. So this program, our Digital Jobs program, aims to support 5,000 Victorians into learning new digital skills in short courses, and then to help place them into roles to give them some training experience, and with the aim of creating new digital skills in our economy. So this program is actually aimed at mid-career participants who maybe have some work experience, so 10 years or so work experience, they have some skills already, and now they're looking to transition their careers. What you receive over the course of this program is a 12-week course, so it's a free 12-week course funded by Department of Jobs Precincts and Regions. And these courses are in 10 high-demand skill areas, so I think we'll go into that a bit more later, but digital areas that, according to surveys across our state, are going to be required to keep our state moving forward. These courses are, you'll have to forgive me, there's roughly 32 courses, I think, on offer currently across a number of training providers, universities, private providers, and also TAFEs as well. So there's a whole range out there, a real mix of providers coming together to be part of this digital skills program. Following a 12-week course, a rather intensive course, there's a paid 12-week placement, so it's paid at award wage rates, which is wonderful. That doesn't usually happen in placements. For you to try out those digital skills that you've learned, to make some connections, and to really, I guess, get a feel for what it's like to be working in this sector. During this placement and the training, you're also working with a Hudson mentor. The Hudson mentor supports our participants to really understand their career aspirations, to delve a little bit deeper into that, to start putting together a career plan and the resume and job search skills that go along with that as well. So while we're helping you to understand what comes next for you in your career and to make a really smart course selection, and then to help you into that placement, we're helping you think about the future as well. So what happens beyond this program? So all of our people, we've got 2 groups running currently. So we've got round 1 already into their placements now, most of them, and round 2 just commencing their training. So whilst they're doing that, they're working with their mentors to start building up those career goals and putting that plan together. Does anybody have any questions about this information before we move forward? No?
Just was wondering, actually, when this one is going to start, and is it a full-time or I can see the answer. It's a full-time. Okay.
It is. It's an interesting one. It's not quite full-time. So some people are working part-time while they complete it, so it's a bit of a mix, but you do need to be available for the 6-month period of the training and the placement. So that can be hard if you're working full-time. It's probably not aimed at people who are working full-time unless they're wanting to change their careers and they've got that plan in place. So if somebody is working full-time but in an area where, there's likely to be change in their career, it doesn't have any long-term requirement, or it doesn't fit with your goals, then it would be a good opportunity to make a change. But you would need to make yourself available for the training and placement.
Sorry, excuse me, I have a question.
Sure.
If the course in morning or on afternoon?
Well, they all vary. So there's a whole range of different courses, and all of their requirements different. Some require you to be available all day, all week. So there's 35 hours of face-to-face training. Some just run classes in the evening, but it might be specific days, like a Monday and a Thursday. They all have significant study requirements. So no matter what that looks like, you need to
because I'm working
find some study time on top of it, probably 2 days worth of study time. Yeah. Some of the courses would be suitable and some wouldn't. But if you're working every day, I'd say that it might not be it might be really hard for you to do a placement, so you might not be the best suited for this program unless you're thinking about a career change, and then you can make that time for the placement, the 12-week placement following the training. So there would certainly be courses that you could do in the afternoons or evenings, but if you're going to do the placement, you need to be available at least 3 days a week.
I'm not available in the morning all the time, all the days in the week.
this might not be the best course, the best program for you then, unfortunately, if you can't make yourself available for the placement. Part of our requirements is that you are available to complete both aspects of the program, both the training and then the placement, 12 weeks each, 6 months in total.
And as we go through the presentation, I'll show you where you can get the times of the classes for every single course. So
sorry to interrupt you. I just have a question.
Okay, right.
Do we need any, though we are not working here, we can do this course, right? I mean, not even, I'm a housewife, so can I still go apply for this one?
Yeah, and we'll talk about why it might be great for you or why it might not be a good fit. So I'll talk a little bit more about the parameters, and as will Jenny further along in this presentation for sure. So yes, you can. You can certainly, as a housewife, we have many people coming from many different employment avenues. Some unemployed, some longer term unemployed. Parents returning to the workforce. Some people who are currently employed. It's a real mix. So basically, in order to be eligible for this program, you do need to be available for the training. All courses have different training hours requirements, and you do need to be available for the business placement for 12 weeks. The minimum requirement there is 3 days a week. So doing it part-time. If you chose to do it part-time, you need to be available for 24 weeks rather than 12.
I have a question. What type of courses can we do?
We'll talk a little bit more about the courses, but essentially they cover many areas of the digital skills economy.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Yeah, thank you.
You need to be available for this. You need to be prepared to meet your class requirements. So for the course you choose, you need to be available and participate in the class, and to pass that class as well, complete the assessments. If you don't complete the assessments and pass your course, you can't be placed, unfortunately, into a business because you're not demonstrating the skills required. But you will have a lot of support from the student services team and your course provider to get you across the line. So it's certainly doable.
One more question, and I promise I'm gonna be quiet.
You don't have to be
Okay,
quiet.
ask as many questions as you like.
Just everything is gonna be online, or do we have to travel somewhere actually to do the placement or to study, or everything can be done at home?
The training can definitely be done at home, so that's online. The placement at the moment, it's online, but it may very well be in person in future rounds. So it's only online at the moment because of COVID. Everyone's kind of working at home, but we do anticipate that, yes, there will be travel required to the placements on most in future. We do aim to place you within your quadrant of Melbourne, so maybe not in your municipality, or we do try, but certainly within train distance within your local area. So yes, I think I've covered this, but you do need to be available to participate in the whole range of the program. Just be aware that does span 6 months, 12 weeks of placement, 12 weeks of if you do that full time, otherwise 24 weeks, and then the 12 weeks of the training prior to that as well. And you will be invited to have coaching or mentoring sessions with Hudson whilst you're running through that program, just to support you with your career aspirations and you know, any ongoing issues that might arise. I think we can keep moving forward, Jenny. There we go. Whoops. So here you can see the different areas of study we have. All of these areas are in demand in Victoria. That means that we have a skill set that is really required within our digital economy in each of these areas to keep us moving forward. All of the businesses that we're working with, and there are hundreds, are looking for skills in these areas, and the courses support that. So the 12-week courses are all micro-credentialing in these areas. And we have multiple courses in each area. So there might be some that have requirements for full-time training over the week, and that some might have those evening or morning classes, as we were talking about before. Some of them, they're all quite different, but I guess one of the things that's important to understand in all of these courses, regardless of how technical or not they may seem, have a requirement for you to have a base level of digital literacy. I can see a question there. Can we do 2 courses for free? No, there's no double dipping, unfortunately. It's one course and then 1 placement. So unfortunately, just the one opportunity. And we do have all of our participants meet with a course advisor, a Hudson mentor, before making their choice, to try and make sure that you make a really good choice that first time round, because you can't duck out and take another one on board, unfortunately. They all do have that base level of digital literacy required. Some have more than others. You mentioned that there's a resource where you can go and have course hours that also outlines the type of skills that you'll need to be successful. So some, it might be as simple as being able to comfortably navigate through your laptop at home, through your browsers, your web browsers, through your Outlook and Microsoft products maybe. For others, there might be a requirement to have a little bit more of a background with some programming or some other experience. Maybe it's Excel or something like that. So you do need to look really carefully at the requirements and think about whether that matches your skill set, and then maybe have a discussion with your advisor. If you're not sure if you take it into the program and you're not sure if it's right for you, you test it out before you make a selection. Does anybody have questions about these areas of study?
Sorry, not the study, but I just have a question. Do we get the copy of all these?
Yes, I'll send a copy of these slides out, and also the links to where you can download the course guide, which has all the really detailed course information. Yeah, and both Hudson and the Department of Jobs, Precincts and Regions have fantastic frequently asked question resources. There's so many questions there. I haven't even been through them all.
Yeah, the link there houses a lot of content about the program. It certainly will tell you all about these courses in more detail and these study areas from the previous slide. It will tell you all about those frequently asked questions that we're getting and what the answers are. It will show you how to apply. And it will list the eligibility requirements again, just to make sure you're really clear on whether you fit that category or not. As well as looking at that, I would say it's very important if you're considering a change of career, particularly into an area such as digital skills. If it's not something you've branched out into before or thought about, it's really important to do this research beforehand. So as well as the Hudson website, I would encourage you to look at the links below as well from Sync Job Outlook. That Job Outlook is wonderful, actually, for understanding what's out there, and really have a think about whether it's the right fit for you. The courses are quite a challenge. They're designed to be obviously quite intensive. They are 12 weeks only, and we are, trying to give you enough skills to get out there in the workforce and make your contribution in a different area. So it's quite an investment in your time and energy, and any career change is really intense in itself and a wonderful opportunity. Make sure you do your research and you pick the right opportunity for you, though. I can't see the questions coming through in the chat easily while I'm presenting. So Jenny, I can see one come through if you don't mind telling me what that was. I can see the chat button here.
One is next intake.
We do have some dates available. The next intake will be for the start in January. Oh, I can hear some feedback on the line there. I'm not sure where that's coming from, but perhaps if you want to mute, that might help.
Is that you, San?
Might be you, San. I think you're the only one unmuted.
It was San.
Goodness me.
But yes, we have a slide which has the dates for the program as well coming up.
I was just having a look. It looks like we're aiming to have the next round of training start on the 17th of January. That might shift just a little bit, but it won't be far away from that. So basically over the Christmas break and into a fresh start. Mm-hmm. I can see a question there about eligible as concession cards. There's no concession card requirement because we're not taking any payment from you. So anyone's eligible for this program if you meet the requirements. The course is free, and then the placement is paid at the award wage. So no worries there. All of the training has prerequisites, and there are prerequisites for your application in the program, which we'll talk about in a little bit as well. So that's on a slide here as well.
Yep. And we have a question here. Can I get some information about digital marketing and product management? So look, what we recommend on this slide is we've got 3 websites here where you can go on and you can research this stuff because practicing that kind of online research skill is a really great way to help prepare yourself for going into these classes as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you can use the baseline information on the Hudson website to tell you a little bit more about what those categories involve and the types of courses on offer. And then you can do some more research about the digital economy in those areas and decide whether a course might be the right fit for you in those areas. Yes, that's a really good idea, Jenny. We might move forward to the next slide.
Oh, it's always a bit of a challenge when I am screen sharing and doing other things. But we've got
I know.
Here we are.
I think we did. We shift over to.
Let me check. Yes, we did. Okay, this is the one we're up to.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
So the program is currently running and runs all the way through. There we go. Runs through to June 2024. So there are several rounds to go. So if you weren't successful in getting through one round, you could apply again. Just letting you know that. We do the recruitment in rounds. So we basically do one intake and we assess that intake, and then there is still eligibility for future intakes. We will start looking at the new applications for the January intake from November, and we will no doubt formalise that intake in January. So maybe even it'll help her. Oh, you muted me then, Jenny.
Oh, I'm sorry. All right, as long as you're unmuted. All right.
Nice to hear a little voice on the line. Yeah, so we will start to look at that intake, and we will formalise the intake and let people know if they're successful, I'd say in late December, early January, but there'll be more information on the website as that comes up, and that will be for the third intake. We generally get quite a lot of applicants, so roughly 3,000 per intake, maybe a little bit more, and we take on 500 people in each of those. So as you can see, it's quite competitive, and we do have a process to make sure that the intake is fair, and we assess everybody based on the skills required to get through the program. So we'll talk about that in the next slide. If you aren't ready now, if you're thinking about a career change, you don't think you're quite there, you've got time. You've got time to think about that and put yourself forward for one of the future intakes. You could be using some time now to do some research, even taking some time to assess your digital literacy. And you can do that online or with maybe a Learn Local provider, and to think about whether it's the right fit for you. There's lots of information out there on the web that you can use to research where you're at and to decide if this would be right. You can certainly talk to a Jobs Victoria advocate about the steps that you could take to be ready. And another great resource is also the Skills and Job Centres found in every TAFE in Victoria. So that's a wonderful way to go and get some more information about training, about the prerequisites that are sit across all training courses, and what's actually out there as well. So they understand all about the jobs and digital economy as well, and would be able to help you with further information or a career change in another area if you decide that this isn't for you.
Sometimes I can change slides easily. Sometimes I need to click a few times.
I think there's a bit of a lag on the internet sometimes, particularly around the middle of the day, I find. So I guess this slide talks to whether this is the right program for you. So who can apply? If you're over 30 years of age and you have roughly 10 years job experience, or if you've been out of the workforce for a while as a parent, that's all right too. It's good. It's really good to have some work experience under your belt, though. We will look at that. You need at least 5 years of work experience, even if you are over 30. And you need to have a real appetite for change. So this program does make you work hard. The training courses are quite intense. They're really well-regarded providers who are there to support you, but the content is quite intense to get through because you're learning a new skill very quickly, and the placements are a wonderful opportunity as well. So if you're ready for a change, you have an appetite to learn in your mid-career, this is the right course for you. We welcome applicants who are Victorians over that age of 30 from any background, from any industry. We are particularly mindful of upskilling our regional Victorians, women looking to return to the workforce. And of course, anybody who was impacted by COVID-19, because we've seen obviously swathes of people within our communities whose jobs were affected during this time. And we're certainly looking to help make a difference in getting people back into the workplace quickly. If you're under 30, but you have been in the workforce for 10 years, then you can apply also, just letting you know that. So some people might have entered the workforce quite early and have that experience under their belt. And it doesn't matter what sector or role type you come from. We've got people who have professionals with degrees. We have people who are from industry backgrounds and maybe did an apprenticeship early on, or, on the tools. We have people who come from hospitality backgrounds. We have people with very little training or experience to learning, as an adult as well. So that can be quite an interesting change. And I guess it depends on you. I guess, as we talked about, your appetite change and your ability to learn new skills and to cope with the digital literacy requirements of the program. So now is a good time to do some research and think about whether that could be you. There are lots and lots of questions and bits of information on our website. If you're not getting what you need from those, you are welcome to get in touch with us via the inbox as well, and to see if we can answer your questions that way, because that can help as well.
Okay, now.
I have a question.
Yes, please go ahead.
I want to ask about this course is for free, yeah?
The course is for free, yes. So it's funded by the Department of Jobs, Precincts and Regions.
After 12 weeks, I have job already, or I wait job, or what about job?
Yeah, so not everyone's been with us from the very start of the presentation. So Susan, if you don't mind explaining the placement component again, just quickly.
Yeah, so basically the program is comprised, it's made up of 6 months of participation. The first 12 weeks of that is a training course that's funded by the Department of Jobs. And then the second half of that is a job placement. Now, this placement is an internship, not a full-time role, but it does take you through 3 months of learning based on the skills that you've acquired in your training. So you do your training and then you get a chance to test those out with an employer in an internship for 3 months.
Thank you.
And then Hudson's providing support afterwards to help people find ongoing work. Is that right?
We're helping you with coaching and mentoring throughout your program, and we'll help you make a plan to get out in the job market, and then we'll show you where the resources are to support that change moving forward as well from there. So there's lots of resources out there in the community. We can't help you necessarily get a job, but we can help you work out how to get the jobs, and we can teach you how to get a job.
Okay, well, Susan, we've reached 2:30, which I feel like was the limit for the amount of time that you're able to give us today. But if you're able to stick around, that would be wonderful. But if you can't, that's all right.
I can stick around for a bit longer if there are some questions, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for having me today.
Oh, thank you so much for making time for us. Are there any more questions for Susan before San and I continue with the presentation?
I have a question. In the last slide, I could see that if you're over 30 years, can I have that last slide? They haven't mentioned anywhere someone who can, for the regional Victorians, women looking into return to work, and anyone who have jobs impacted, but there is nowhere mentioned as someone who want to get into the industry. So does that still applies for everyone?
For people looking to get into the IT industry? Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Certainly, there's not the whole, I guess the program, we aim to have 20 participation for the regions, but there's a whole bunch of people in our metropolitan area, including Whittlesea, that we would love to have participating in our program. If you do want to change your career, and this is definitely the right type of program for you. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay, do we have any final questions for Susan while she's with us?
Yes, if it is possible. Excuse me. Hi, hello, Susan. I'm really sorry. I, joined the session a little bit late. I am wondering, this course is just for a kind of computer science and IT field. Am I right?
Correct.
Yeah,
All
and-
IT courses, yes.
Yeah, but we'll go through the course, some of the course details, and you'll see that there's things which are marketing, there's some things which are data, there's computer programming, there's using computers. There's
All with an IT
huge
focus
range.
though, so all using digital skills.
And these courses are going to start in November. I mean, that is around
January.
January. It means up to March.
Yes, so there's going to be, so every 3 months there's a new intake for the course. So if you weren't selected for the January one, or if you weren't ready yet, the program goes for 3 years. So you could even spend 12 months getting yourself ready and then still have a lot of opportunities to get into the program and do one of these courses and internships.
I can see some questions there about when does the selection process start, it does start, it's ongoing for each round, but the selection process for the next round will start, I would say in December and later in December for the January intake, just to get over that Christmas period, or early January. So there'll be a cutoff date, and when you look on the website for the applications, it will tell you when the cutoff date for applications for the next round are, and then it will let you apply for the next rounds as well. All of these courses are related to IT. That is absolutely the goal, is to get people into the digital economy. The backgrounds, such as finance, are absolutely fine. It doesn't matter what your background are. And in fact, for some of our internship business placement providers, they love to see some of the different backgrounds, and it might really fit in with their business as well. So it might be quite desirable to have a really diverse background range.
Okay, thank you. Well, that's all the questions. Nazneen has put their hand up.
Yeah,
please go ahead.
sorry, I joined late. So we have to apply this on the Hudson's website, or there are other sites we can apply?
It's all right.
It's
I'll
on the
show you what
website.
the process is. So we've got some slides coming up where I'll go step by step through the application process as well.
Okay.
So yeah, you haven't missed that information yet.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, well, I might pick up from this point and go through some of the finer detail. So Suzanne, thank you so much for joining us today once again. And we look forward to having some fantastic applicants apply for this program.
We certainly do. I look forward to seeing some of your names in the applicant list in the future. And we do have Audrey online as well from the Department of Jobs, Precincts and Regions, who's here to answer questions as we move through. So nice to meet you all. Thanks for having me today.
Thank you. Audrey, do you want to say hello to everyone? I'll give you a moment to identify your mute button if you'd like to say hello. But yes, that's so Susan, who's just been speaking, is from Hudson. So they are the recruitment partner for this program. So they do the selection of who gets to be in the program. And they also help put the students into which placements they're going to be doing. And then Audrey, if she's here, look, she may have had to go as well, but she's from the Department of Jobs. And so they're doing a lot of work with employers in finding the placements. So there's a few different partners in this program. So what I'll do now, if I can get my slides to move properly, is I will introduce myself. So, whoops, it always moves two at once. So my name's Nazneen, did you have another question?
Yeah, sorry. Suppose someone applies on the Hudson website and they get rejected. Can they apply from different websites like Department of Job and all later next year?
There's only one place to apply, but you are welcome to apply every single round if you want to. So they're currently taking applications for round 3 out of 10. You can apply for all 8 of those rounds. If you don't get into the first 7, you can still apply for the 8th one. But yes, there's just the one recruitment process, and we'll show you what that is as well. But yes, you're definitely welcome to keep on applying if you don't get through the first time.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So my name is Jenny, and I work in the Women's Employment and Empowerment Program. And we also have with us today San, who's one of our Jobs Victoria advocates. San, do you want to say hello?
Hello everyone. Thank you for joining with us today.
Thank you. You have a very buzzy microphone today, San. You'll have to stay muted when you're not talking, I think. Okay, so what we want to do now is go through at a slower pace what the eligibility requirements are, what kind of courses there are, what background people in this course come from, and please do keep on asking your questions as we go along, because that's a really good way to to kind of really get through the information at the time rather than waiting until the end. San, you're doing this slide, aren't you?
Yes, if you're considering about the residency and visa requirement, so you should be a Victorian. That means you should live in the state of Victoria, and also you should be an Australian citizen or a permanent resident as well. You should.
Sorry for interrupting. It's noisy.
Can you hear me?
Yes, the problem is that's part of Sam's microphone, so unfortunately he's not able to.
So maybe unplug the microphone and you can use the laptop's microphone. All good now?
No, unfortunately.
No. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you. It's just a bit buzzy in the background. Oh, that's a bit better, I think. Go for it.
Yeah, now it's better. It's better? Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, all good. So, as I mentioned, you should be a Victorian. That means you should stay within the state of Victoria. And also, you should have a Australian citizenship or a permanent residency. And also, you should have a valid visa to allow you to live and work in Australia for at least the next 12 months. However, Hudson recruiters will confirm your eligibility via Vivo Check. So you know about Vivo Check, visa entitlement verification online system. So they will check once you are applying for any kind of course with Hudson. How do you, Jenny?
Yes, so just to be clear, if you're a citizen or permanent resident, yep, you're definitely eligible, but you can also be eligible, as San was saying, if you have a different type of visa, but it's allowing you to live in Australia for at least the next 12 months and that you have full working rights for the next 12 months. Yes, so we know that a lot of people in our community are on different types of visas. So while we can't guarantee to you at the moment that your visa is valid, if you have a question about that, we can try and help you out, or we can tell you how to use that Vivo tool online to check your eligibility. Do we have any questions about visas at the moment? No, okay. We expected this to be our biggest question. Maybe we've been really clear about it. Yeah, so as long as you have the right to live in Australia for the next 12 months and you have the right to work in Australia for the next 12 months, you should be eligible for this program, and be aware that Hudson will do a Vivo check just to make sure that you have the right visa. Okay, let's see if my slides will move ahead. So tricky when you're screen sharing. Oh, and it always goes ahead 2 instead of 1. Sam, do you want to continue with this one? Or maybe I said I would do this one.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll let you keep your buzzy microphone off. So I asked Hudson if they have a specific English fluency level. I said, you know, is there a particular IELTS level that you need, or English as an additional language certificate? They said, no, they don't. They haven't defined a particular number. It's more about your confidence in using English, whether that's been formally assessed or not. So you need to be able to use English to complete the verbal and written screening process. So the screening process is the application forms that you're going to fill in and the selection and interview processes. You need enough English to be able to participate in online learning because the learning is all going to be presented in English, which will be both writing on the screen and people speaking and you asking questions, to be able to join in online class discussions, and thinking about the fact that you'll be doing a work placement when restrictions allow in an office with other people who might only speak English, to know that, yes, I can go into an office and I can speak English and do my job. That's the level of English fluency that you need. So if at the moment you think this opportunity sounds really good, but you don't yet have that English confidence, you can talk to one of our Jobs Victoria advocates about finding some formal, which is like a paid structured class, or a class that's part of your the hours that you get as part of your visa and residency, or informal classes. So there are some classes which are English conversation classes or practicing English for the workplace. So it's the kind of class that can help you to improve your English before applying for this digital jobs program. So if you would like to talk to one of the Jobs Victoria advocates about finding some new English classes, we'll give you information at the end about how to contact our advocates and have someone who can help you find the right classes for you. And another great way to build your confidence in English is through volunteer work. So it's been really hard this year and last year to be a volunteer because there's been so many times when volunteers haven't been able to go into offices. But from, look, maybe December this year, but definitely when 2022 starts, organisations will start saying, yes, we can welcome our volunteers back. So if you have volunteered before or you thought about it and you want to try it for the first time, we really recommend that as a way of not only practicing your English, but gaining experience in an Australian workplace and understanding the strange ways that Australians work together. And again, the Jobs Victoria Advocate team can help you with finding a good volunteer placement that's going to be interesting for you, help you to use the skills and the values that you have, and also be beneficial in you learning some new skills as well. Okay, so we'll go on to the digital skills requirements to get into this program and to complete the courses. Sam, do you have a question?
Yes, Jenny, one question is on chat.
Mm-hmm.
So Hannah has just only 5 years experience. She's asking about, is she eligible for the program?
Sure. Hannah, are you under 30 years old or over 30 years old? Because that's going to make a difference. If you're age 30 or over...
I am 40 years old, but I have
great.
a rich background in education, science and business.
Fantastic.
And I'm willing to do data analytics. I did it in business, but I didn't have the chance to find a job. I have kids straight away and I wasn't able to work.
Well,
but I have good, yeah.
This sounds like a fantastic opportunity for you. And we're going to have a look at some videos of some women who've been through this program, who've been through the process of learning new skills, and the fact that you already have some exposure to data analytics is going to put you in a good place to either go into one of the intermediate level courses, or there might be a foundation level course that really interests you. But yes, definitely. So your age, the combination of the work that you have done and your study, you'd be in a really good place to apply for this program, and I'd really encourage you to do that. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So there are 3 digital skills levels, what they're calling benchmarks for entry into the program. And the skill level that you're at when you apply and get accepted affects which courses you can choose from, which placements you can then go into, and what job opportunities you're prepared for. So there's a real flow from when you do this course and learn these skills, it means you're prepared to do this particular placement, and you're then getting that experience which gets you ready for this type of job. So you want to make sure that you're not just choosing the course that looks the easiest. You really want to think about which job do I want to end up in, and choosing the course that's going to lead to that. So like we were showing earlier, and we'll send the links around, on the Hudson website in their frequently asked questions, there's a question there about what job opportunities does this program lead to. If you look at that, there's a big list, and you can use these different career information websites to research those jobs and think about, oh, I didn't know what a digital product specialist was before, but now I do, and it sounds really interesting to me. So doing that research and using your digital skills in that way is a good way to prepare you for applying. And the good news is that this program really is designed for people with foundational and intermediate skills. I know I've spoken to a few people who've heard of it and they said, oh, it sounds like I need a degree in programming to do this stuff. And you really don't. It's really about having that interest in changing, being interested in lifelong learning, learning new skills, having the courage to make some changes in your career. That's what you need to be successful in this program. And when you're accepted into the program, one of the Hudson Employment Mentors will help you to work out what digital skill level you currently have. Okay, so the first of the 3 skill levels is called foundational digital skills. And this information is available in the course handbook on the Hudson website. So the foundational skills, you really only need the digital literacy to comfortably complete the online course at the required pace. So it's about having the skills to be able to engage in online learning, having the problem-solving ability to be able to learn new information and say, oh, okay, this is a bit challenging, but I can make sense of it. And yeah, I'm learning and making progress. But as long as you have enough digital skill to join an online course, and all of you have managed to join this Zoom session today, so that's a good indicator that you would be able to join an online course. There are classes even available just at that very basic level. So someone with a foundational skill level, they would confidently use Microsoft Office desktop applications. So you can use Word, you can do a bit on Excel. You don't need advanced Excel skills, but oh, I know what Excel is, I've used that before. To be able to install and use simple and common software applications, again, nothing very complicated, and being able to navigate the internet. So like I said, the fact that you've all been able to register for this session today and join in with the Zoom session, you have at least some of these foundational skills they're looking for. The next level is the intermediate digital skills. So these are courses where you need some understanding of a specific computer program in order to do the course. So rather than starting from this is some new software we're going to teach you, they're going to be saying, right, you need to open up this program you're familiar with and do these tasks. So it's someone who's more confident in their digital skills. For example, using Microsoft 365, which is the online Microsoft suite, and online collaboration tools such as SharePoint. This is something that I've had to learn this year. Being comfortable using new software and communication platforms like Slack, MS Teams, and Moodle. Again, you might say, look, I haven't used those ones, but I've used WhatsApp to communicate with friends. You've already got some of those skills that you need. And you might say, look, I'm not ready this recruitment round, but I'm going to spend a couple months learning what Slack is. I'm going to learn what SharePoint is, and then I'll feel confident at applying at the intermediate level. And some of the courses want you to have some idea of basic statistical concepts. So not all of them. That's just there's particular ones where they say, look, this is a data analysis course, for example. So we expect that you know a bit about statistics. And then the highest of the levels is advanced digital skills. So this is where you have a good knowledge of some specific programming languages or software, for example, Python, CSS, and HTML. And I'm going to talk a bit more about those digital skills. Sam, do we have some new questions that have come up?
There's one question from Nazneen, and Nazneen is asking about the list. Nazneen, we didn't get the question properly. Do you mind?
What the list of jobs which will be eligible to perform after the this training?
Tell you what, at the end of the session, what I'll do is I'll open up the Hudson website and I'll show you where you can access that list. And then once you know where that is, you'll be able to find that yourself and then research some of those jobs. So yeah, I think we should have some time at the end. How are we going? Is it? Oh yeah, we're doing really well for time. So we'll have time to look at that together.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so previous qualifications and experience. So as long as you are aged 30 or older, they're looking for people who have 5 years of work experience in any type of role. Or if you're under 30, 10 years experience. And what this is demonstrating to Hudson when they're choosing people is that you are a problem solver, that you're a team player, so you have experience working in teams, that you are organised, that you are inquisitive, creative and curious. And creative doesn't literally need to mean that you paint and you create things, just that you have ideas and you go, oh, I wonder what the answer to that would be. That's the kind of curious, inquisitive type of mind that's going to make you successful in this program. And people that are lifelong learners. So even if you finished, you weren't able to finish, sorry, even if at the age of 15, you weren't able to continue with school and you went out to work and you've been working for 10 years and you're saying, look, I've done all these jobs, they're not hard, they're not high levels, I haven't been working in an office or doing complex things, but I've been working with customers and I've been had a good relationship with my manager and I'm really ready to get back into learning and try something new. Again, that's showing that you have that that curious nature towards work and learning. So even if you didn't get past that kind of middle high school level of education, we still really encourage you to give it a try. I know I've said here, if you aren't sure if you have the right kind of experience, Jobs Victoria has free career counselling, which can help you look at your work history and your school history and identify your relevant experiences and skills. Because a lot of people, for example, women who've been out of work for a long time or people who did have to leave school at an early age, they might think, look, this program sounds great, but I don't feel that I have something to offer. And a career counsellor who is someone who can help you with those feelings of maybe not being good enough or not having enough that you can provide. And they can help you recognise that actually I have done a lot, I have achieved a lot. Raising my family has taught me some really important skills and I've demonstrated that I do solve problems and I am organised, and they can help you feel more ready to apply for this. And our Jobs Victoria advocate team can refer you to this free professional online career counselling. So the fact that it's online is another thing that makes it easier. If you are at home with your kids and you've got remote learning going on or they're going back to school, the fact that you can access this free professional career counselling online makes it that bit more accessible for you. Okay, so we've looked at, do they want specific qualifications? No, they don't. Do they want specific technical skills? Apart from some of the advanced courses, no, there's nothing specific that you need to have done before. But what you need is to know about your transferable skills and your motivation to do well in this course. So like I was saying, even if you finish school at an early age, if you have the motivation to make that change, you're going to be showing Hudson about, look, I'm ready. I want to take control of my career and do something new. I'm motivated. That's what they want to see in you. So upskilling for a career change doesn't mean that you're abandoning everything that you've done before, the training that you've done before. So skills such as problem solving, planning and organising, collaborating, which means working with other people, critical thinking, which again is problem solving, maybe hearing a bit of information and saying, even though you just said that, I'm not quite sure it's true. I'm going to do my own research and come to my own conclusions. And resilience. So resilience is saying, look, things didn't go well today, but I'm going to turn up tomorrow and I'm going to give it another shot. All of these are valuable in a digital job, as well as whatever kind of job you've done in the past. So whatever your experience or your area of interest, adding the latest digital skills to your existing knowledge, work history and skill set is going to create new career opportunities for you in the years ahead. So even if you've been working in finance before and you went through this digital jobs program and picked up some good new skills in, some examples we'll look at later, you might then turn around, you might go back to the finance sector and say, hey, you've got these new jobs coming up. I have a strong finance background and now I have these digital skills as well. I'm the person you should be choosing for this new type of work in your field. And one of the most important qualities for any kind of program like this is optimism. So it's believing that this experience is going to be worthwhile and that you do have something valuable to offer. And optimism has been hard for all of us in the last 18 months. We've all taken a bit of a blow to us believing that things are going to be okay and everything's going to be great. If you're finding that you're still stuck in not thinking things are going to get better, then again, that career counselling can work with you on those feelings and how to move past it and building your resilience as well. I was talking to one of the Jobs Victoria career counsellors today, and yeah, she's really fantastic. Again, she's worked in many different areas and she's come to career counselling. And yet from speaking to her, I'm really confident that if you're having doubts about your career and what you can do, talking to one of these career counsellors is going to help you. So now I'm going to do a bit of a trick. I'm going to switch over my screen sharing and show a video about a woman named Michelle. And she's from a teaching background and she has become a software developer. So if we can just wait a moment and hopefully the audio in this is going to work for all of us. Let's see. Is that good?
We cannot
see the
yeah, not the video, not the audio.
Yeah.
No audio?
No audio and video, both.
You can't see either of them?
Yeah.
Thank you for telling me. What I'm going to do is stop screen sharing. I'm going to go new share. No. Okay. I'm going to stop share and I'm going to do that again. Thank you very much. Share screen, share sound. We're going to go back to Michelle's story. See, this is why I always need my co-hosts to tell me what's going wrong.
Yeah, now we can see the video and audio, both of them. All good.
My name's Michelle Wong and I work at MIOB as a graduate developer. For the past 5 years, I've been a primary school teacher working in Melbourne, and as part of working as a teacher, I was exploring different opportunities to help engage my students in their learning, and I came across coding, and so I decided to run some lunchtime clubs with my students to develop some games. And as part of this process, I became really interested in coding myself, and being the lifelong learner that I am, I started to do some short courses in coding. I heard about my MIOB's Develop Her program, which I then applied for, and as a result I'm now currently a developer at MIOB. As a teacher, I never thought of myself as someone who had digital skills. However, I came to realise that there are a lot of transferable skills as a teacher to a developer, which have been really useful for my job. For example, communication, collaboration, and the ability to get things done. I can see how tech touches pretty much every single industry in the world. Like if I want to be involved in education, I can still work in education as a developer. If I want to work in the medical industry, I can also be a developer. So I feel like the career path for me as a developer is pretty much endless. So like me, you could go from being a teacher to a developer. So enroll today.
Okay, so that was Michelle, who's moved from being a teacher to being a developer. And now I want to share Catherine's story. And Catherine was a nurse.
Hi, my name is Catherine Marion. I am a software engineer at Zendesk, but I started out as a nurse and I worked as a nurse for 8 years. It wasn't feeding my brain or making me as happy as I hoped, so I pivoted into digital skills. Pivoting from a nurse to an engineer was extremely challenging, but there were also many skill sets that I could take across from being a nurse into engineering. These included people skills, management skills, and managing crises like an absolute boss. There is not enough diversity in engineering. I'm proud to say that I'm the global lead for Women in Engineering employee community at Zendesk, and I want to inspire more people, more women to become engineers. I really encourage you to do what I did and pivot into digital skills. Enroll today.
Okay, I think it's quite inspirational seeing the changes that other people have made, because you wouldn't think that someone who's been a nurse would then become a computer engineer, and yet she did it. And the fact that this program is giving you the opportunity to make that change in just 6 months, 3 months of study and 3 months of placement, rather than going back to university and maybe doing a new degree or doing a postgraduate qualification, is a really fantastic opportunity. Okay, I will go back to sharing this screen. Great, we've seen Michelle, we've seen Catherine. Okay, so what I'd like to go through now is the application process. So there's three stages in it. So the first one is the online application form, which is on the Hudson website. So we're going to look at that in a lot of detail. The second stage in the process is a text-based behavioural interview. I didn't know what that was before I started looking into this program. So I will show you a little bit video that explains what that is. And then the third step is an online psychometric assessment. Again, big confusing words. You might know exactly what that is. You might have no idea what that is. I'll show you what an online psychometric assessment is. Okay, so this is the online application form. So the very first step of applying for this program is you go to the Hudson website, and we will send you this link. And this step is just assessing if you are eligible for the program. So before it makes you do any of those assessments, it's just checking, is this person eligible to go through this process? So when you go to this website and you click apply now, it takes you to a page, and at the moment you can apply for the January 2022 intake, or you can apply for the April 22 intake. So you might say, look, I feel ready, but it's going to be school holidays. I don't want to be, doing this study while my kids are out of school. I want to wait until April instead. But you can see as time goes on, so this is January will be intake number 3, April will be intake number 4, and there's going to be 10 intakes over the 3-year period. So we're really still at the start of this program running, and there's many opportunities to get involved if this year isn't the right year for you based on how old your kids are, or you really need to keep working in the family business for a bit longer, or you're already enrolled in a course that you want to finish first. That's okay. You can still come back and apply in 6 months, 12 months, 18 months. This program's still going to be here until the end of 2023 would be your last opportunity to apply. So for each of these, there's a view job, which is how you apply. So what I would do, if you're ready to go right now, is I would view job and apply for that January one. And then if you don't get through the process, but you go, look, I'm just going to learn a couple more things and I'm ready to go again, then you'd go back in, you'd apply for the April one, and you can keep on applying every single time. Okay, so when you open that online application form, they want to see your resume. Again, the Jobs Victoria Advocates program can help refer you to a service that can help with your resume. The Skills and Jobs Centre at Melbourne Polytechnic is one of the places that can help you. So it's going to capture your contact information, your address. So here it's asking, are you a Victorian resident? And then you must be a Victorian resident to be eligible for this program. As we've already said, this is for people in Victoria. And then the next thing they're going to ask is that you are available to be part of this program. So with the internship placements, once we're able to go into offices again, and you can imagine if you started your training in January, the placement would start in April, you'll probably be required to go into a workplace. Susan was saying they do their best to get you a placement, she said, in your area of Melbourne. So you wouldn't have to be going across the city. You may have to go into the city centre. That's the furthest, but there might be something in Preston or even in Bundoora or Epping that might be a good match for you. And we'll also have a look later on at the regional areas where some placements are available as well. And then they'll say, what's your preferred location? And you get to choose, Melbourne or somewhere else. You need to say that, yes, I'm available to commit to the full 12-week study period. And yes, I'm able to commit to the full 12-week traineeship as well. Internship. The next questions is going to be about your qualifications. So what's the highest level of qualification you have, the name of that. So if it was a bachelor degree, you'd put that in. If you left school, if you couldn't continue school past year 9 or year 10, you put that in. Look, being honest in these kinds of processes is always the best way to approach it. And look, if you say, look, I left school when I was 15, but I've done a certificate 3 in English, you can have a talk to one of our Jobs Victoria advocates, and or they can refer you to a program that can help you make a decision about what qualification do I put in there as my highest qualification. And then they'll just want to know where you studied and what discipline area your qualification is. Do we have any new questions at the moment? Oh, good. Yes, got some chat about their stories. Those are really good. I enjoyed seeing those stories too. Okay, so they're going to ask.
There is a one.
Yeah, Nazneen, please go ahead.
Yeah, so how many days we have to go for the training? Like, will it be Monday to Friday, or it will be 2 to 3 days per week?
Okay, so with the training, it's going to be online, and we'll have a look at the course handbook. So there's 33 different courses available at the moment, and each of those has a different timetable. So I was having a look. There's some courses that are only like 4 to 6 hours a week. So they have 2 online classes, and there's something like 6 p.m. till 8 p.m. at night. But then some of the advanced ones, it's going to be 20 hours of classes a week. And that might be 3 full days of learning. So it makes a big difference. Which course you choose is going to affect what availability you need to have. So that's an important thing to look at when you're choosing which course. But you won't be asked to choose a course until you're accepted into the program. And then you're going to have the Hudson Employment Mentor who can help you go through the options. And if you're a bit stuck on that balance of needing to be available for my kids, but also really wanting to do this course, maybe talking about some strategies about how you can get more help with childcare so that you can devote yourself to your study. Okay, So the next stage in the application form is going to ask about your employment status and history. So they're going to ask about your rights to work in Australia, what visa you have. Are you currently working? How many years have you worked? They ask, was your job role impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic? And if so, how? So if you were, for example, starting to look for a job when COVID-19 hit, you might say, yes, it was. I wasn't employed at the time, but my employment journey has been delayed for 18 months because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Or maybe you were laid off, or your hours were reduced. And this program is looking at helping people who have suffered job loss or an hour in reduction in hours because of COVID. So yeah, if that has affected you, it's good to let them know. They'll also ask, did you get job seeker payments during the COVID pandemic? Are you currently underemployed or at risk of being underemployed or unemployed? So underemployed means working 12 or fewer hours a week. So you have a job, but you're not getting enough hours to pay, to pay for your rent and your food and so on. And if you're in that situation, they just say, what's the main reason for this happening? Okay, as usual, I've gone past 2 slides instead of 1. So next they ask about your demographics. So do you identify as Aboriginal and or Torres Strait Islander? Have you served in the Australian Defence Force? They want to check how many men, how many women or other people they're getting applying for the program. Your age, are you a newly arrived migrant from a refugee community? Again, in this kind of government program, they want people from as many different backgrounds as possible. So if you're from one of these backgrounds, but as long as you're comfortable being open about, yes, I arrived in Australia on a refugee basis, they'll say, oh, well, we haven't had many refugees applying for this round of recruitment. So we might, we might give your application higher consideration. They'll ask, is English your second language and what other languages you speak? Do you have a disability? And then they say, so if you do have a disability, they'll say, do you need any accommodations to be able to go through this recruitment process? So that would mean if you are deaf or have hearing loss, do you need the process to be done with some kind of like screen reading technology or something like that? They're not going to say, oh, that's too hard. It's too hard for us to work with people with disabilities. They're going to say, let us know how we can help you participate in this process. Okay. And then the last part of this application form is declarations. So have you ever lost a job because you did the wrong thing? Have you ever been through a disciplinary process because of what you did at work? And if the answer is yes, giving details of those. And have you ever been charged or convicted of an offence in Australia or overseas? So they need to, it's not necessarily that you can't get into this program if you say yes to some of those things. It might be that some of the organisations providing the placements might have strict rules about we can't engage anyone who has a criminal history, or there might be other organisations who say, look, as long as you know what the nature of your offence was and it's clear that you're not still doing that kind of thing, then that's okay with us. So again, being honest in these processes is important, because if you said something that wasn't true, it will come up at some stage, and it's worse to have tried to deceive people during recruitment than to be upfront and say, look, this is the situation, but things are different for me now. Okay, so as Susan was saying, around 3,000 people do that stage of the application process each time, and then they'll check that you're eligible. And as long as, yes, I live in Victoria, I have working rights, I'm the right age, then they'll say, right, we'd like you to do the next step, which is an online behavioural interview. And what on earth is that? So a normal behavioural interview is looking at your interpersonal skills. So that's how you act and communicate with other people. Your motivations, so that's why you go out and work or why you want to learn things, and your employability. So that's the skills you have, like turning up to work on time, working well as part of a team, meeting deadlines, being organised, those kinds of things are your employability skills. So the questions are really looking at when you are in this kind of work situation, how do you respond? So that's a normal behavioural interview. It's about how you behave, how you respond in the workplace. An online behavioural interview is asking those questions through an online platform. And I was really interested to look up the software that Hudson are using for this. And I'm going to, I didn't prepare this video, unfortunately, but I'm going to open this up, I hope. Whoops, gone too far. I'm just going to stop screen sharing for a moment.
Yeah.
Because I'm just madly back and forth past things, and I'll find the right page. Do we have any questions while I'm finding this website? Okay, so I'm going to turn my screen sharing back on, and I will turn on share audio as well. Share sound, yes. And I will show you what an online behavioural interview looks like, because it's really interesting. Right, couldn't find my mute button. Right, well, that was something different. I've never done an interview that way before. Yes, so that's, I've never seen it before, so I expect that many of you won't have seen an interview that looks like that before. So it's a quick way for them to get this behavioural interview information from all of their candidates, and then from so that kind of gets scored, and then they say, right, these people answered these questions really well. We want all of these people to move on to the next stage. So what I would do if I was doing an interview like that is, even though you had the control to go and edit your answers on the screen, I would be writing out my answers like in a notepad or Word document. And then when I was happy with it, I would be copying and pasting it into a back into that chat box. Now, I'm following on from these workshops. I know we have a lot of women with us here today. As the Women's Employment and Empowerment worker, I'm going to be doing workshops for women, which is about readying your resume and being prepared for these kinds of online assessment processes that are happening a lot more these days. So I'd really love to hear from the women here today who are keen to either apply for this program, or maybe they go, look, digital jobs isn't for me, but I still want to be ready for this kind of process. Even supermarkets like Coles and Safeway, Woolworths use these kinds of tools these days. So I'd love to hear from you if you would like to join in these workshops and get some more help with the job application process. Okay, I'll go back to sharing the screen. How are we going for time? 3:20. Thank you everyone for making so much time for us today. Look, we've allowed up till 4 o'clock. Hopefully we'll be done before then, but we want to make sure everyone, don't start from the start. Give me a moment and I'll try to get back to where we were. Okay. Okay, I want to present, not start from beginning, start from this page. Why can't I use PowerPoint when I need to? I think I should join the Digital Jobs program and get better at my digital presentations. Come on, from current slide, here we go. Okay, so when you've been approved for that step 2, you've passed that online behavioural interview, you're invited to complete some online psychometric assessments. Now, the word psychometric is a bit intimidating. What it means, it's metric is like measuring things, and the psych part of it is what's inside you, your responses and your thoughts. So it's measuring your thoughts and your actions and the way that your mind works. So it's really just another way of assessing your personality or thought processes. And in this digital job selection process, they will give you a personality assessment of your working style. So I've got some examples here of the 2 most common ways that these questions are asked. One is normative questions, where they give a statement like, I like to go to parties, and you choose something from strongly disagree to strongly agree. And none of those answers are like the 100% right answer they want to see. It's more building up a profile of how you like to work. Do you like to be part of a big team or a smaller team? So being accurate and truthful with these answers is always the best way to go. And the other way that questions can be formatted is called ipsative, which just means that they say a statement, and then you either say, yep, this one is really close to who I am, or no, that's not much like me. So it's really good to, usually when you're sent a link to do an assessment like this, they will also send you a link to where you can practice the assessment. And the company doing it will strongly recommend practicing. I really recommend practicing an online assessment before you do it, just to make you comfortable with the kind of questions you will be asked and how you'll be answering them. Yeah, so there isn't ever a wrong answer that will make you fail, because it's not better. You know, it's commonly been thought, oh, you need to be an extrovert to be in the office, you need to be really competitive. But introverts are really valuable. If you consider yourself someone who, you know, oh, I like being just with a small team of people and, you know, to share my ideas quietly, there's real strengths in that. Yeah, so again, going back to the idea, if you feel that, oh, I wouldn't fit into a workplace, I don't know that I have much to offer, perhaps talking to a career counsellor is a way that you can recognise your skills and your strengths and be more confident about saying, yes, I am an introvert, I am a quiet person, and that's fantastic. And this is how my quiet way of working makes a strong contribution to a work team. Okay, next slide, please. There we go. Okay, so the second part of the psychometric assessment that the Digital Jobs program does is an abstract reasoning assessment. And this is about your learning agility and problem solving. So it will come up, it's often visual rather than language based. And this is one, maybe even more so than the personality questions. This is one that you want to practice a few times and use a few different sample tests to understand what it's going to look like and build your confidence of, yes, when I am doing the timed test, I understand what kind of answers I have to give. So this might look like complete nonsense to you. Don't worry about it if it is. Again, in my women's return to the workforce workshops, we're going to look at some examples of this and try to build your confidence in doing this kind of thing. If you're looking at this and go, oh, what the answer is obviously, I don't know, what would it be? I think it would be, I don't want to commit to something in case I'm wrong. I think the answer would be D.
D.
D, yes, we've got agreement that it's D. Fantastic. Apply for the Digital Jobs program. Yes, I was going to say, if you're looking at that and you know what the answer is, then this is a really great program for you to apply for. Again, even something like Coles or Woolworths, they have not this exact question. It might be something that's a bit easier to figure out, but you're still going to come across processes like this. So building your familiarity and your confidence in doing tests like this is really going to help you in your job search. Okay, so what if you get through this process and they don't select you? Hudson have said that, look, someone said they retain applications, but really what they recommend is that in a couple months' time, you apply for the next round. So maybe you're saying, oh, look, I really didn't do a good job on that reasoning assessment. I know I'm smart enough. I just, I made mistakes with what I chose. I'm going to do a few more practice tests before the next one. I'm going to apply again, and I'm going to set myself the goal of performing better in the next set of tasks. You can ask for feedback on why your application wasn't selected. And then you can say, okay, well, the feedback was that I don't have enough experience in this, or the way that I expressed myself here wasn't what they're looking for. I'm going to, over the next 6 or 12 months, really work on those skills and that confidence, and then I'm going to apply again. Again, I keep going back to career counselling. It's really a wonderful thing to help you whatever stage of your career journey is at. If you are feeling stuck and that you don't know how to proceed, or you can't make a decision about what to do, a career counsellor is the person who can help you with that, with those issues. And there's many other programs that can help you gain new skills and find work, such as Learn Local programs, which are either low cost or free, and Whittlesea Community Connections also runs Learn Local programs. There's the Skills and Jobs Centre at Melbourne Polytechnic and all the other TAFEs in Victoria. And talking to someone from our Jobs Victoria advocate team, they can give you personal advice on these are some good options for you that are going to help you reach the goals that you've set for yourself. Okay, I've been talking for so long and I'm going to keep going for a while. That's okay. I might just have a quick drink of water. So when you got through this process, they've said, congratulations, you're one of the 500 people selected for this recruitment round. Then it comes to choosing a course. So like we said, there's different course options available for your digital skill level. There's full information on every course in the handbook on the Hudson website. So that will say, the course is at this time on this day. It gets into that level of detail. So you can say, no, I have to take my children to their medical appointment every week at that time. I can't commit to this course at the moment. So then you might look at a slightly different one, or you might say, look, my heart's really set on this one. I know in 6 months our situation will be different. Maybe in 6 months, that's when I'll do the course. So some of them, yes, so they are live classes for the most part, which means the instructor is teaching you, you get to ask questions, they're giving you demonstrations, they're asking you to do things, you're demonstrating what you're doing. Now, I did hear that I think some of the very advanced courses have some on-site classes, but for the most part, they are online, and the course guide will say very clearly if it's a 100% online course or if it's one where you would need to go into a particular site to do some of the work there. Now, very important, does the course lead to a career that you want? Because there's not much point going through this process, working really hard to complete this course, doing the placement, and then going, oh, well, that was dreadful. I'm so glad that's over. I never want to be a data analyst in my life. So doing that research into what are the jobs that I get out of doing this course is very important. And that Hudson Employment Mentor that they provide is going to help you with that decision as well. Okay, again, right, there we go. So at the foundational level, which is that level where you've got the digital skills to do online learning, but you're saying, oh, look, I don't know how to program. I don't know what AWS is. That's okay. These are how many options there are at that foundational level. So even something that sounds really complex like artificial intelligence and machine learning, still at that foundational level, they've said, yeah, we've got a way we can teach you that. No worries, come in. We would love to teach you how to work in machine learning. So there's quite a few options at that foundational level for programming, software development. Cybersecurity is going to be a really big employment area coming up. Data analytics is what look, if I wasn't working at the moment, I would 100% apply for this program. And I think that's why I'm so keen to tell all of you about it, because I can't do it at the moment, I'm working. So I want you to go out and do this program for me. And then at the intermediate level, there's a few more options. There's a lot in this digital marketing operations and support. You can see there's still quite a wide range of courses there. And then at advanced level, it's quite surprising. There's actually only 3 options. And that shows you that this program really is structured for people who are at that foundational and intermediate level. So I didn't want to spend lots of time explaining all the courses. I want you to do your own research, because having the digital skills to do this research is a sign that you are ready to apply for this program. I just wanted to show you, even at that foundational level, you have this many opportunities available to you. And if you're a bit higher at intermediate, there's that much more. If you are at that advanced level, you could, and you might say, look, I'm advanced, but I don't want to go back and do more on this area I've already known. You can go for one of those intermediate courses as well, because this is for people who are changing careers and learning new skills. So even if you are quite advanced, you might go back to intermediate and learn a new topic that you don't know anything about. So to complete these courses, you need access to a desktop or laptop computer that can operate the software required for the course. Each course has its own assessments, and those are quite thoroughly described in the course guide. So on some of the foundation courses, it's just being able to describe the principles that I've learned and then putting together a basic thing using this software. And the advanced ones, those assessments are really quite at a high level. And attendance at the live class times. And again, the schedule is in the course handbook. That's one of the requirements for being assessed as having completed the course. So we'll send you this link. This is where you can download the course handbook. It's really long, really detailed. So please go ahead and do that after we've finished this presentation today. Okay, the internship placement. So Susan did a really good job of talking about that, of course, because she works in the program. So everyone who completes their online study is guaranteed a work placement. And it's not like doing a TAFE course where you have to find your own. The Department of Jobs and Hudson, they are on the job of finding these placements. They have like 100 companies sign up providing placements for people. You get to select which placements you're interested in, and it will be related to which course you've done is a really important factor in which placements are available to you, but also looking at where you live. So they're not going to make you do a placement that's in Frankston or Geelong or somewhere that's just impossible for you to get to. But again, if you did have family in Frankston and you said, look, I don't have kids to look after, I'm fine to go stay in Frankston. I've got, my sister lives down there and she said I can stay. You might say, yep, I'd really love to do a placement down in Frankston, spend some time with my sister, be near the beach. So you do have that input into saying, look, even though I live here, I can attend placements easily in these other areas. You might be asked to attend an interview with the internship host, and your Hudson Employment Mentor would help you to prepare for that interview. The placement will be relevant to your course. Now, payment is minimum wage. Now, I looked up on the Fair Work Ombudsman website, and that minimum wage is around $20 per hour. So it's not stacks and stacks of money because they're recognising you're still a student. You're going to be needing a lot of support in your placement to be able to understand things and do things and learn how to do it. But because it's a government program, we want to provide you with legally paid employment. So that means we're paying you that $20 an hour, which is the minimum that you're entitled to. Now, you're not guaranteed ongoing work with your internship host. So some of the hosts may say, you've done such an amazing job and we have an opportunity coming up related to the placement you've done. We would love to offer you this position. All that's guaranteed in this program is that you'll do that 12-week paid placement, and then Hudson will help you with your job search skills so that you can apply for employment. Now, do we have any questions that have come up while I'm on this placement page? Or are we ready to move on? We're getting near the end. I'm excited. Okay, look, I'll move on to the next slide. And again, if you have questions, pop them in the chat and we will read those out. Okay, so I just wanted to show you, because I know not everyone here has lived in Victoria all of their lives. I've just put stars on the regional locations where there are internships available. So we're here in Melbourne. There's quite a few kind of up further north, up to Mildura, Warrnambool, Traralgon. So these are some of the places where if you had family in Shepparton, perhaps you might say, yes, I'm interested in an internship there. Or you might say, hey, I have relatives in Shepparton. I want to tell them about this program and encourage them to apply because I know that they could do a placement in the area where they live. So after the internship, the Hudson Employment Mentor will help you to update your resume and how to communicate what you've been doing in your placement on there. They'll help you identify what entry-level digital jobs you're eligible for. And they'll teach you how to tailor your resume and cover letter to specific job opportunities. And the Jobs Victoria Advocates team has a presentation about that next week on Wednesday, which you can sign up for. We've called it Using Keywords in Your Job Search. Yes, so it's, look, even if you've got a lot of professional experience, perhaps in another country, you still might be sure, look, using English language, I'm not really confident about how to identify the keywords in a job ad or a position description and use those in my application. So next Wednesday's session on using keywords in your job application might be really great for you. So to find out more and to apply, and yes, we will email you these links. This is the Department of Jobs Precincts and Region website. If you go onto your web browser, just do a search for Digital Jobs Program Victoria. This should come up for you. And this is the Hudson website, which has a lot of frequently asked questions. It's got that course handbook. So going through both of these websites is a really good idea. Now, you might have, sorry, do we have any questions? That's okay. So you might have said, look, this kind of opportunity sounds great, but this particular program, I don't really want a digital job. I want to upskill. I need to be given an opportunity to demonstrate what I can do and not just rely on applying for jobs from Seek. There's other programs that you might like to look at. So there's some specifically for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people, or for people who've arrived as refugees or seeking asylum. There's the Careers Seekers program. For younger people aged under 30, they might like to consider the Youth Employment Scheme or Youth Employment Program, which are two more Victorian Government programs that are aimed at helping give young people some work experience, giving them the chance to demonstrate what they can do, not just submit an application and be judged on that. There's programs for recent university graduates. So if you know someone who's finishing up university this year or next year, or I think even in the last 6 years, if you've graduated, you're eligible for one of these, either the Victorian Government Graduate Program or the Australian Government Graduate Program. Now the Australian ones, those roles, a lot of them are in Canberra. They may be anywhere in Australia, where of course the Victorian ones, a lot of them are in Melbourne. Some of those are in those regional areas we were looking at before. There's recruitment programs for people with disabilities, and people with disabilities are given additional pathways into graduate and internship programs as well. And for people on the autism spectrum, there's a fantastic organisation called Specialistern who find a lot of these kind of work trial opportunities for people who are on the autism spectrum. And many people are eligible for job search support through the Jobs Victoria Employment Scheme. I didn't update it on this slide. We're about to talk about that. And you can also access free and low cost work readiness training through Learn Local providers, which includes us, Whittlesea Community Connections. And I think now I'm going to hand over to San. I'm going to take a bit of a break from talking for a while, and I'm going to let San talk instead. Take it away, please, San.
Is my mic
yes?
okay?
Yep, we hear you.
All good, all good. So, well, Jenny has already explained Jobs Victoria Advocates role already. So, I just want to explain a few things. So Jobs Victoria Advocates utilize community networks and connections to connect people who need employment related support. Jobs Advocates engage with job seekers and others to understand their support options and needs. Jobs Victoria Advocates can connect people to relevant services that can help them prepare for and secure work, including Jobs Victoria mentors and career counselors. And further, JVA team members can do follow-up check on connections made with relevant services when needed. And also Jobs Advocates advocate on behalf of their clients to service providers if required. So basically we have to tell that the Jobs Victoria Advocates are not case workers. So they are just basically what they are doing is provide information about employment, study options, volunteering opportunities, and career counseling services. Next slide, please.
San, do you want to explain what a conversation with an advocate is like at the moment when we can't see people face to face?
Yes, at the moment we are running over the phone consultation kind of thing, but we are planning to have a presentation and meet people within the shopping centers, libraries, and neighborhood houses. So you can come over there while the restrictions is over. So that is how we are connecting with the people at the moment.
Cool. Next slide.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. Next one is Jobs Victoria Mentors. So Jobs Victoria Mentors help people to become work ready and find a job that suits them. So they also connect employers with local candidates. You are eligible for Jobs Victoria Mentor service if you have been unemployed for more than 6 months or more, or you are unemployed and at risk of long-term unemployment due to challenges when seeking employment, and you are not receiving enough support from other services. So when we are talking about our own specialized mentors program at Whittlesea Community Connections, so you can get support if you are an asylum seeker, refugee, or with refugee background. If you are a migrant and job seeker born outside Australia who speaks a language at home other than English, if you are a culturally and linguistically diverse background job seeker, and also if someone experiencing or history of family violence and who needs support through employment. So those are the eligibility criteria for engaging with our own mentors program in Whittlesea Community Connections. So jobs advocates can refer you to mentors program and career counselors that best meets your needs and situation in due course.
Okay, well, I'll jump in and I'll talk about the Women's Employment and Empowerment Program.
Yes.
Thanks, Anne. So this is the program that I'm working in. So in this program, we're offering training opportunities and employment pathways for women in many different groups. Young women aged 15 and older, including girls who might still be at school, women returning to work after caring for their family, or who may have had kind of an extended career break for any reason, really. Women from migrant, refugee and asylum seeker backgrounds, Aboriginal and or Torres Strait Islander women, and women with disabilities, chronic illnesses, neurodiverse conditions and mental illness. So there will be different programs and opportunities put on for women from different backgrounds and with different circumstances. So what we've got coming up, I've mentioned the Women's Return to the Workplace workshops. So this is going to include support to apply for the Digital Jobs Program. So if you've listened to this presentation today and you said, yes, I'm a woman, I really want to apply for that, but I'm not entirely confident about doing it by myself, or I understand the process, but I'm still, there's still issues about how am I going to balance returning to work with looking after my family, or I know my skills are good, but I'm not feeling confident. These workshops are going to help you with, both with the practical steps in applying for programs like this. And again, like I said, even applying for a job at Coles or Woolworths, they still have some of those psychometric assessments. So this is a way where you can get some support and feel more prepared to go back into the workforce. It's not applying for my very first job workshop. The job advocates have some great workshops which help you if that's the stage that you're at. But for a woman, maybe you've worked in your country of origin and then you've come to Australia, you haven't worked since then, and you want some support to get back into work, especially around confidence, then this can be a great workshop for you, and I'd love to hear from you. And so those workshops are going to be on Thursdays. And then in November on Wednesdays, we're going to have a series. I haven't put the workshop series name there, but it's called Women, Work and Money. And it's for women who are starting work in Australia for the first time. Information about things that you might not have thought about, like how do I open my own bank account? Doesn't need to have my husband's name on it. How does tax work in Australia? People are using this word superannuation. I don't know what that means. And also understanding the childcare subsidy and how you can get, the government can pay a lot of the cost of having your children either in before and after school care if you're working 9 to 5, or if you have younger children going to long daycare, the government will actually pay a really big part of that expense. So it's important to learn about that, and it can help you go, oh, actually, it is possible for me to go out to work, and that it's not that all of my money is going to be spent paying for childcare. So those are some really great workshops if you haven't worked in Australia before. And then next year, we're going to have some things like small business workshops. We're going to be doing a lot of trade tasters. So that's getting to try things like carpentry and construction and woodwork and maybe saying, oh, look, this is completely different to anything I've done before, but I really enjoy using my hands. Maybe this is a career I'd like to pursue. Yeah, so there's going to be help for women who are thinking about going to TAFE courses. We're going to do some great courses out on our community farm. Maybe not straight away, perhaps when there's a few less weeds there and a bit more actual land to work on. But there's going to be a lot of great programs for women over the next 3 years through this program. And I would love to hear from you, hear what you're interested in learning or studying. Really, this program is being created in response to what support you need to get back into the workforce. So I'd love to hear from you. All right, I can't believe we've taken all the way through to 3:52 and we're just on our last slide now.
Yeah.
So Sam, do you want to take us through how to get in contact with us?
Before that, Rennie, Jenny, there is one question on chat.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm asking that, what are the course duration, part-time course duration, and how she can find that kind of things.
Okay, if we're talking about the digital jobs program, the course handbook that you can download from the Hudson website will give you full details of how many hours a week you spend in classes, how many hours you might need to put in for your assessments, and all those courses go for 12 weeks. If you're asking about the Women's Employment and Empowerment Program, oh, Sam, could you mute your mic again if that's you? So the women's return to the workforce is going to be on Thursday afternoons for 90 minutes at a time for 4 weeks, and I can send you the exact dates. The Women, Work and Money course is going to be on Wednesday mornings, again 90 minutes, an hour and a half for 4 weeks. And then different courses that we provide will have different lengths depending on what the course is and what's involved in that. So I'm really happy to provide that information, if you want to get in contact.
Yeah, hello, how are you? Yeah, I am Alam. Yeah.
Hi.
So yeah, I'm asking about the job digital program. So yeah, can you please just make sure to include that link into the information you've been sending? Yeah, I'll be appreciated.
Yep, I will.
Yeah, thank you very much for that.
Okay. All right, Sam, you can talk again.
All good then. So Rennie mentioned repeatedly that Jobs Victoria advocates can refer you to Jobs Victoria Employment Service, Women's Employment and Empowerment Program, and any other support service you need. So please contact us 0401 6666, or you can write to us jobatvocates@whittleseycc.org.au. That is our email address, and the upper one is our contact number, so you can contact us. So we are more than happy to help you. Thank you so much joining with us today.
Thank you. Now, have we managed to get the survey link for people? Look, we might need to send that around later if that's not available yet. But what I'm going to do
sorry, Jenny, because I was with Sonali earlier, and she said the survey is ready to might send you tomorrow or sometime. Yeah.
I muted myself. We'll send that out tomorrow. Let's see, do we have any more questions? I see a few people have their mics off, unmuted, so please go ahead and ask your question if you would like to before we finish up. Okay, Shamima, do you have a question to ask, or Gayathiri?
Yes, Jenny. I just wanted to ask about the levels, what you're talking about, the foundation and intermediate. So the levels, are they going to be decided by the Hudson recruiters, or we can choose which level are we going to do?
So when you get into the program, the Hudson mentor will sit with you and say, what is your previous digital experience? How much can you do on Microsoft? Do you know any other programs? So they will help you to assess what level you're at. So really, they won't do that assessment until you're all the way in. And then they'll ask you, what level do you think you're at? They might say, look, show me how you can do this. And then, together they'll say, look, you're either foundation or intermediate or advanced. These are some courses for you to choose from. So it's not just up to you to define that yourself. I hope that helps.
All right, great, thank you.
Okay. Shamima, did you have a question?
No questions. You explained very well. Just very thank you. You did amazing work, fabulous work.
Oh, look, it's so great. And it was wonderful having Susan from Hudson being able to join us as well. That was really a last minute addition to the presentation. So it was really great having her along. Okay, it's 3:57. We've been together for 2 hours for some of us. So I think we'll say goodbye for now. Thank you everyone so much for joining us. We're going to email you a little survey link, which I think will be ready tomorrow. And yes, please contact us at either jobadvocates@whittleseacc.org.au. You'll get that email address because we'll send it to you. Or my email is the same, but jbarnes@whittleseacc.org.au. But still, the advocates can put you on to me. We'd love to hear from you. So thank you, everyone. Have a good day.
Thank you.
And all the best for the program.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.